All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Real Stocks. So yesterday was a pretty interesting session, and a very interesting opening last 15 minutes. So we'll talk about that when we get a few more people in the room here, or anyone. There's no one here right now. So if you're watching a recording, I'm talking to you because no one else is here. So let's take a look at some pre-market movers while we're doing this. Trading pre-market movers. All right, looks like Marin Software is up 50% from $2.56 to $3.86. All right, guys, that is a buy. Could be a buy, but I kind of doubt it. $3.86, not quite to the 200-day moving average. Not quite sure why this has been in a perpetual downtrend for years. But anyway, still not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Tilray today up 11%. After being down significantly up to 73 and change. Not even quite to that 80 line right there that my cursor's on. So not a big thing to get all excited about. And nothing else. Boston Scientific is at 37.16 currently. 37.16. So up here, which is not bad. Actually, that's a pretty nice little gap. Credit Suisse starts Boston Scientific at outperforming the 42 price target. So not too bad there on Boston Scientific. I talk every once in a while, every once in a while about you buy the market on the days where you're scared. Yesterday was definitely a pretty scary day. And if you look at the very end of the market here, has a huge volume candle in the last 15 minutes. This isn't even like settlement after hours. This is during the market. I bet you this comes in during the last minute. Let's go check it out. So last several minutes here, starting here, just a big run into the close. In that last minute with a lot of volume. Not quite sure if I can get, I don't know if I can get deeper than this. Ooh, selling. It was a sell candle. Oh, very interesting. See what diving in the charts gets you. I thought it was a bullish candle. It is a bearish candle. One tick. Let's see what we get with one tick. $8,000. I'm looking for exemplary volume here. Alright, so there was one for 6,600. There's a big one there for 10,000 on the dot. So that's a big block sell up there at 10,000. Drop the market right there. A couple more. And a big one here for 1 million right at the end, right there. Wow. $1,007,675. Just before the close there. Very interesting little candle. with 1 million of the Qs traded. We'll get a whole lot of input after that, but interesting stuff there. So currently this morning looks like we are. So here's another thing: the volume trend on the Q is still trending lower. Obviously we can have elevated volumes at any time. Question is, will we? So yesterday, while it was scary, I actually did exit some of my TQQQ position a little bit earlier in the day. I may choose to get back in, to be honest with you. So elevated volume here, elevated volume at this low, elevated volume at that low. Not that there's your peak volume is here, and then we had peak volume here on this bottom day there as well. So we're still seeing some buying down here. So it's a very interesting market situation we're in, but it's definitely less healthy than more healthy. So there's a, okay, why is that even a thing? That shouldn't even be a thing. There we go. Like I said, I think that was your trend line. That broke to the downside, elevated volume. A lot of this was that volume on the close, though, that 1 million shares traded on the close. Almost 50% more volume than Friday, which is usually intriguing for a Monday. That usually doesn't occur. Up about 0.61% today. We'll see how we react. Nothing with the pre-market movers getting us too interested. Hold on a second. All right, so let's go do a little bit more history. Morning, Eli. Yeah, hope's not a good thing in the market, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so the Fed, there's a Fed meeting today and tomorrow. I think it's today and tomorrow. And that's really going to give us our big push, which is why I think we didn't drop a super drastic amount under here yesterday, which is why I think we bounced back towards the end of the day. They're just usually before the event, if they don't really have a clue, then they didn't sell it off as much as they could. Ooh, and G calls for China to stay the course. No one is in a position to dictate reform to us. That's not very good. In what context? All right, so where's the... Trying to find when the FAT meeting. Yeah, a little bit. I don't see date. See investing, maybe. Why are they talking about the Fed meeting? No one's talking about the Fed meeting on CNBC. Maybe Bloomberg. Trump urges Fed to feel the market, forego another rate hike. Maybe you'll tell me when the Fed meeting is. See, the whole problem with this whole rate hiking thing in our stock market and our economy is that the Fed should increase rates. Unfortunately, I kind of hate to say that, but they should. Um, Here's the funny thing too. It's kind of interesting when you think about it. Trump cuts taxes for an economic boost. We get an economic boost, and the Fed raises rates. It's like they're fighting themselves. It's like the economy was doing good. The Fed was slowly raising rates. Trump cuts taxes so the economy gets even better. Well, not the economy, but the stock market gets even better. And then the Fed continues raising rates. But now they want them to stop raising rates. They're like, oh, we never meant to do that. Why don't you just not raise rates anymore? It's funny. It hurts itself into confusion. Pretty much. And I still don't have a date for the Fed rate hike. Tilray goes global with Noveris marijuana sales partnership. That's why Tilray's jumping today. Tilray's up a few percent today. But that's interesting. Ooh, the gambler who cracked the horse racing code. That's what we need to read. Close to $1 billion later? What? This guy's made almost $1 billion betting on horses? That's crazy. I'm going to have to read that later. That sounds awesome. I love it. Sounds like Billy Walters actually was a client of mine, world's best sports gambler. Ooh, SpaceX about to launch its first Pentagon mission. Boeing will deliver a huge payday to shareholders, special dividend. A 20% increase in the aerospace company's dividend and authorize a new $20 billion buyback program late Monday. Wow. Yeah, more share buybacks. I'd almost rather them issue dividends than share buybacks. Give the money back. Don't just have it sit there. Short the horses. Someone thinks Fed pulls plug. Well, that's kind of that's one theory, is that as the market deteriorates, the Fed may not necessarily raise rates. The problem is, from my understanding, the Fed's mandate is to curb inflation. It has nothing to do with the stock market. So for all intents and purposes, they should continue with their rate hikes, which, I mean, isn't even a bad thing. Everyone's freaking out over what is essentially, in my opinion, like a fairly large non-issue. We got a great economy, low rates. They need to raise rates. So in case we actually have a problem, the stock market isn't a problem. It's a problem for us trying to make a profit in the market, but for the general economy, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. So the general economy is increasing job growth, increasing inflation. That's the general economy. Yeah, I'm talking about general economic, not necessarily our benefit, which I know sounds weird, but there's always plenty of stocks to trade. You don't have to. Is it really good in everyday life, USA? Uh, it's pretty stable. I don't know about really good. It's good. I mean, I have nothing to complain about. If I complain about something, unless I'm sick, got hurt, my kids are sick or got hurt, I've got nothing to complain about at all. At all. But, you know, there's some people that don't have it so great in the U.S. We're not all rainbows over here. But if you're making 40,000 plus, you can live just fine in the U.S. Yeah, U.S. existence is, if you're willing to work and smarter than the average idiot, you'll be fine. But there's some people have bad luck. Some people fall through some cracks in our systems that can't get help and whatnot. Other people just damage themselves over and over again. And but you can do that here as well. It's the funny thing about America. You can be as successful or as unsuccessful as you want to be. In other places, it's hard to be very successful. Yeah, big volumes up here. I was going to look at, what was I going to look at before I started looking at other stuff? I was going to go back through. Hmm. I'm going to do some bear market research here. Hmm. That's interesting. This guy's showing an S&P chart, which got obliterated yesterday. So forget that thesis. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, that looks like an interesting chart. It kind of looks about right. I think this was like a week ago, though. I was looking at something like that, I think, is what this guy was looking at, or lady, I'm not quite sure. It's a channel with this top right here, which actually would be bearish because it's in a trend line, but that broke. So let's see what some of the biggies did yesterday. Apple, Amazon, bad day on Amazon. Not a good day for Amazon yesterday. Definitely failed all the moving averages. Yeah, it looks like the bear may have awoken. I almost went long SQQQ yesterday, but then I went to lunch with my mom and never got a chance to. I should have done it when I was thinking about it right before I left, but 40% of S&P components are now officially in bear market territory, having slid back 20% or more from the highs. I don't consider 20% in a stock bear market territory. I'd consider about 30 to 30, maybe 35 plus percent bear market for stocks. Personally. What did Microsoft do? Oh, wow, Microsoft looks like it's trying to obliterate support. That is not healthy. Microsoft's been holding us up. So definitely elevated volumes, a little bit of buying there at the close. That definitely was a buying day. There's some support down here at the 200. The problem is they keep testing it, so that is not good. Hmm? hell's this guy talking about? That guy's talking about weird stuff. Anyway, market's going to open in a few minutes. 0.6% gap up today. Not much, considering what we've done. Let's see. So, yeah, we'll see what happens today at the open. Yeah, I think he does mean SpaceX. I saw that in the news today. SpaceX launching a satellite for the Pentagon. Nighthawk says gap up or dump, gap up and dump or sustained. Uh, probably another gap up and dump. More than likely, that's the impetus lately. We have the Fed meeting coming up, so I think probably expect volatility. I mean, really, you have to expect volatility at this stage of the game. So average gain in a bull market. I just found this thing by Invesco. Let me pull it up here. You see similar things every once in a while. So I'm looking for something specific, but I'm not finding it. Interesting though, average gain in a bull market is 151%, 54.8 months. Average loss in a bear market, 33% and 12.2 months. So if you consider we've been in this for a month or two, we may have another 10 months to go in this bear market, if we are in a bear market, which it looks like we're leading into a bear market. And yeah, while it sucks for right now, trust me, in a year from now, you're going to be like, oh, this is great. We have lots of stocks to buy that are super cheap. So, it's hard to say exactly what we're going to do. Looks like the market we're in right now is this is since 56. This isn't even the full market. This is 56 to 2017. So this doesn't account for pre-1956. But it looks like we're in the second largest bull run from 2017. So this is 2017. So we peaked out a little bit higher, up about here, and then now we're about, I don't know, I'd probably say we're maybe halfway through the bear market if we are going into a full bear market, maybe halfway to a low. I mean, we haven't seen a bear since 2008, so it's hard to say exactly. I don't have like really good charting statistics here, but you can see here a lot of these came back, and this one dropped and never really came back. Looks like this was 2008, right? This was 2008. Yeah, 2008. And then this one was 2008. Now we're going to have I mean, it would make sense. It would make sense. The time scale seems about right. If you notice, right after these huge drops, I don't think we're going to have such huge drops, but after these huge drops, you had like a little mini bull run of 20%, and then dropped again 33% and again 27%. So there were some interesting little pops and drops here recently. Doesn't look like we had that in the past. So right now, this one retested a high before going back and retesting a low back in 56. You can tell right there. Maybe I can zoom in. There we go. So you can see right there we came all the way down, tested the high, and then dropped all the way back down and tested low before finally moving again. So that one, mini retest there, mini retest there. This one never quite had a retest. Not quite a retest, not quite a retest. I don't know if we're going to retest this time around. We'll have to wait and see. It's hard to tell. This one retested, it expanded a few percent, and then this one fell back again. So two bear markets in a row for the 2000 and the 2008. We'll see what happens here in a little bit of a different environment. This one only rose 100%, right there for at least on the S&P. So that's that's kind of interesting there. Oh, it looks like the market opened a little bit ago and rallying a little bit. I think we're rallying. Oh, no, we're not. Hold on. Let me adjust my monitor. Can't see anything when the pixels are facing up. Yeah, sure, Eli, absolutely. Drop it in stocks. So it's not really an article, but it's a infographic, if you will. Pretty neat. Yeah, so that just incorporates bear markets, doesn't incorporate corrections. But I would like to do a large survey on bear markets and like some pretty in-depth stuff. That'd be fun to do. I should spend some time doing that at some point. Probably not gonna be able to do it soon, but your monitor's inverted during a bear market. That's right. Does that mean when you buy and sell, you're inverting those too? That would be good. All right, let's see what's up today. We got Tilray up 5%, SKW, Boot, some stuff up today. Let's see what's down today. Not much. The same garbage that was up yesterday. Excuse me. And that's Vlad's hodl strategy. He's turned his monitor upside down. Yeah, right. So selling off a little bit already here today, down about 0.1%. Nothing crazy. We got AMRAD, Twitter, jumping all over my monitor. I can't even catch it. VMW, Goose, EEFT up there. Lily's up 0.57%. That's not Lily Y. EEFT. Doesn't look like anything crazy. NetEase. What are you doing, NetEase? Haven't looked at you since early yesterday. So it looks like it closed below its line there. So looks like it was rallying okay. Some distribution. Yeah, but overall looks like we're on Microsoft's dropping again here. Let's look at Apple. Amazon. Both up about 1%. So until we get a decision from the Fed, we're probably going to be very choppy. The second you see things get aggressive in one direction or another is probably when the Fed makes its announcement, to be honest with you. When is the Fed announcement? December 18, 19. So sometime today or tomorrow, we'll have to wait and see. What is the Fed discussing? The Fed is discussing if they're going to continue raising interest rates or if they're going to put a pause to interest rates. The Fed doesn't do anything with the trade war, Justin. What the Fed does is they monitor the U.S. economy and they raise and lower interest rates accordingly to make the economy healthy. So the problem is they want to raise interest rates, but now the stock market is taking it on the chin. So the Fed's going to feel pressure to not raise interest rates. We'll see if this new Fed chairman listens to the market or does not listen to the market. And we talked a little bit earlier about how he probably shouldn't. In my opinion, I don't think he should listen to the market. I think he should raise the damn interest rate. It's 0.25%. Go about his business. But everyone, you know what? To be quite honest with you, yeah, right, Sankt. To be quite honest with you, I'm gonna use kind of a little bit harsh language. We're a bunch of pussies. we're just a bunch of pussies. Oh, you want to raise a 0.25% from what's the Fed rate right now? Like, what is it? It's like 3%, if that. current Fed funds rate. It's at 2.25%. It's like, come on, seriously? You're going to bitch about raising it from 2.25%? You're killing me. It's horrible. 2.25% and we're complaining. Get over it. We have tons of money. Shut up. Seriously. Hold on a second. I actually have a client calling. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. BTC rate in UK is 0.75%. Yeah, see, that's the problem here. And that's the thing where I say that we're pussies, is because, like, these are, like, grown-ass men. They're just greedy Fs, for lack of a better term, in my opinion. It's like, do you really think our economies can be healthy and can sustain any kind of situation with interest rates that you can't do anything with? Like, seriously. And yeah, negative interest rates, I think, are very, very weird. It's like, it's just politicians protecting their butts is what it is. It's kind of the system run amok a little bit, I think. I mean, interest rates are there for a reason. They're to kind of curb inflation. They're to stop they're to stop rampant money printing. But I mean, if you're doing negative interest rate, I think I'm gonna start buying some Feds. That's not a thing, but you know what I mean. So anyway, yeah, I think they need to keep raising rates. I think they just need to be on a clear rate. They're like, hey, look, as long as the economy's good, we're raising rates 0.25% every quarter, until we see fit or something like that, and then the market can digest that, and then we'll get on with our damn lives, really, and stop being beholden to a 0.25% rate hike. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Everyone's making such a huge problem out of this. So that's my opinion. Doesn't mean anyone listening cares or anything like that. But it just doesn't make any sense, man. Just a bunch of pussies. I'm going to put that on Twitter. Okay. You guys leaving? Bye, babe. Bye, Ethan.
Say bye to your dad.
Bye, buddy. Love you.
He's finishing the letter.
It's a letter now?
He wrote the lyrics to the Holly Jolly Christmas song on there.
Fantastic. I want to see it. Take a picture of it when he's done.
Here. Okay, I have to finish this. Grab that from your dad.
Are you done? Write your name. Close my door, please. Love you. Have a great day. That's cute. Don't afraid to buy the dip. Gloves are for pussies. Yeah, right. So anyway, market officially back in a correction according to IBD standards. We undercut that trend line right there. So now we're back in follow-through day count. But yeah, so not forgetting that is still a thing. Still got to count follow-through days. Still got to do the work. But we do have to also wait for the Fed to give their decision and for Trump to capitulate on his trade war threats, unless he trade wars us back into a recession / depression. We'll see. I don't know what the future holds, but interesting to see if China holds their ground, what Trump's going to do. Very interesting to see if he's going to back out when the market goes into further tumbles, because that trade war is going to cause a problem, or if he's going to hold it, in which case it will definitely be a problem. But then there's this article saying Xi's defiant end of 2018 signals more U.S.-China tensions ahead. And so, pretty interesting right there. There was a quote earlier where he says, like, we should not be, no one is in a position to dictate to the Chinese people what should and should not be done. Doesn't bode very well. And so here's the thing, is like, I don't understand Trump's strategy, to be honest with you. Like, I thought his strategy was be nice in public so people can save face, but kind of do dickish moves, if you will, right? Like trade war, all that stuff, kind of be a D in terms of what he does, but speak nicely. But then he goes ahead and arrests that woman, the CFO of whatever company, I can't pronounce it. So he goes ahead and he does that, and then I'm like, okay, well now you're. To me, that's anti what he wants to do. Like, if his big thing is trade war, focus on trade war and don't worry about the patent side of it, because that girl's company apparently stole a bunch of U.S. patents. And I get stopping that. That I actually agree on stopping wholeheartedly. If China can stop stealing our patents, that would be great. But going after both simultaneously is just going to piss China off. That's a bad strategy, in my opinion. I think you talk nice about them, and then you do the sanctions. Like, oh yeah, Xi's a nice guy. We made great benefits. We made great strides. Blah blah blah. Even if it's false, like, I get that. I get it. But by going after that woman, I don't understand that. It's kind of a weird thing. He's a negotiator, so whatever makes him look victorious. Well, he'll turn it as a win or a spin. He'll spin it in some fashion that the blind Trump supporters will love and count it as a win, and everyone else will be like, "What are you talking about? It's not a win." Yeah, but he'll have to capitulate on the trade war, I'm assuming, eventually, and that would cause the market to rally. I think that's one of the only things really holding us back. Honestly, I was thinking about it. I don't even know if the interest rates are even that much of a deal to the market. But I think it's probably majority trade war, peak economy, than it is, specifically interest rates. So, but, it's a big headline story, and it will kind of move markets a little bit, but I don't think that's really what they're looking at so much. A quarter rate hike isn't that bad, I don't think. Not so 1% a year. It's like, come on, you got 4 years to get back to a normalized interest rate of about 6%. Looks like we bounced higher here, about 0.8% up higher now. Volumes here, what are they looking like? Let me go down to the lower term chart. Fairly smallish volumes here so far. So yesterday was interesting, actually. Yesterday, So I stopped my stream probably right about at the lows, somewhere down here. And we rose throughout a good portion of the day on lower volume. You see the decline in volume. Then we started to go lower in slightly elevated volume, then very elevated volume. And then, so here this morning looks like we're rising in what looks like slightly moderated volume, even from yesterday, right there. That was our, if you omit that opening candle, which we're nowhere near that, and you go to that second and third candle there, we kind of open there. So kind of a moderate volume day, again with the Fed decision and all that stuff. Oh, that's Amazon. It's not even the Qs. Never mind. Okay, that's better. Okay, so now, okay, there's the opening candle. And then, so, yeah, we're definitely in lower volume state already today on the rally. But still, so here's yesterday, the low volume rally. There's that lower volume rally. And then it peters out in a low, really low volume area right there at this high. You can see up here, and then volume's supposed to increase there on that drop, and then it increases throughout the day for the most part, and then ends up in a very large volume candle here, which actually dove down at the very beginning of the power hour. This on the minute, this is a bad sell candle. On the minute, this is a bad sell candle. So do that, take that for what it's worth. Let's back out of the mail chart here. All right, there we go. All right, so a little gap up this morning, continuing the rally, 0.8% on the futures. So doing okay, not doing great, not really breaking anything yet. But usually when we have these larger down days, they kind of have proven to be a bit of a bottom. This one kind of paused the market here. We'll see what this one does. Of course, the volume here not even very impressive on the sell side or the support side. Still below average volume, and volumes are generally declining. And so that volumes are generally outside of that one candle right there, which actually was a big support day. Still elevated volumes though. There we go. So you can see right there that trend pretty well intact, even after yesterday. Everyone was super scared about yesterday. It was a pretty bad day, but not that bad. I mean, it did break our trend line here. We did undercut the low. That could just be like a spike low to scare out a bunch of holders. That could be a situation as well. And then you saw the reversal there towards the end of the day on the intraday chart. So we'll see what happens today. As you've seen by that intraday chart, we can rally on lower volume and sell off towards the end of the day. I think it's the closes that are really going to tell us what's what. But based on just this right now, we're not completely broken. But I think the bear has opened an eye or two. Hasn't quite stood up and roared yet, but good time for winter vacation. Yeah, maybe the holidays are coming up, so we'll see some lighter volume. Maybe we come back in the new year and things are a little bit more stabilized. But I don't know if you can necessarily call on that at this moment in time. All right, Tilray's leading the fight today, up about 12%. On the daily, doesn't look like a whole heck of a lot though, does it? After a big little route to the downside, this could easily be absorbed. Volume's very heavy today though so far. Very heavy down here. Not sure, maybe we're doing another little rip rally like we did here. That was about 50%. Tilray can have these huge moves. I mean, it's doing crypto percentages. So Tilray's potential rally, we'll see if that. So news is that they partnered with Novartis, big pharma's big deal with a big marijuana play. So we'll see how that plays out. If that could lead to a big rally, maybe it could abate some of the selling. What else? Boots, Stitch Fix, which has just been beaten into the floor. Boeing, which actually we talked a little bit ago, raising a dividend and doing a stock buyback, but breaking a key support trend line right there. Breaking that pattern completely. Quad U, which we haven't seen in a while, sitting there in the channel. The lumber liquidator still sitting lower. CDNA. Similar situation to Boeing, breaking a similar channel pattern right there. LL, T-Rex, new. So New had that pretty good day the other day right there. And it looks like consolidating that. Volume's declining. Could be, held up by this 10-day moving average here. Could be good in New. We'll have to see going forward what that leads to. NXPI, MMNFF. Ooh, Med not really doing much. ZS. MTZ, definitely lower there. MTW, Huya. Haven't looked at Huya in a while. So it did pop up above the trend line. Not much fanfare. Looks like it's rolling back over. Yesterday's selling bar was pretty muted on volume, which I think is a positive sign. Low volume pullback and a pretty extensive pullback. That could be good. Amazon doesn't look too great. Microsoft doesn't look too great, but levels haven't quite been breached yet in some of those names, which could be quasi good. Like I said, we poked lower below that, but we didn't really get accelerated. So we could have reached a situation where maybe we're going to go flat for a while here. We've been looking for that. Just hasn't happened yet. FSS, FIVN, Micron, Carvana. So a bunch of stuff up here. That's getting in a general. Now we're getting just in a gen pop. INSG, still within its flag. In the lower part of its flag. How did you end up yesterday? Not very healthy. Broke that range right there. Didn't really undercut that low, but I don't know if that's really that important. Definitely testing the lower part of this triangle. Could be a low risk entry point for maybe another bounce up to here if someone's so inclined to do that shorter term trade. That could be an interesting move, but elevated volume to the downside there. Not super impressed. We got Netties up here, again, underneath that little trend line we were looking at, and Lilly, which is well back within the channel. It was kind of living higher. See it bear flagged here a little bit, and then rolled over. Today, giving up early gains already. What did Tesla, how did it end up yesterday? Pretty big down day yesterday in Tesla. Slightly elevated volume, nothing to be super concerned with. Longer term, still really love Tesla. I think if this moves lower, use it as buying opportunities. AMRN continuing the route lower. BTC broke both your targets from the last analysis. Oh yeah, we bounced back up again. Well, I don't know. We can see what else is working. XRP up 3%, so they're catching up. EOS is up another 9%. EOS continues rocking, leading this run. Litecoin was leading the run. Looks like they paused a little bit here. They could get going. Well, it looks like we're in a little mini bull run. You can see the volume aggregation tool here. Not a lot of selling. Definitely more buying than selling here. So I say, ready to go with it there. So looks like we broke that descending triangle there in pretty good fashion. We could continue. We don't have continuation volume yet. Definitely elevated volume, but so far so good. I don't know about all-time bottom in Bitcoin, but so far so good for a local low in BTC. Yeah, could be good. All right, almost 1% up, 0.9% currently on the Nasdaq. So getting a little more elevated, ever so slightly. Again, I think we're going to be meandering around until we see a decision from the Fed. Probably float upwards until we see a decision from the Fed. That kind of makes the most sense from these levels. They kind of shook out a bunch of people yesterday, and then now they're going to run it up until we get a Fed decision. And then we'll see if they sell it off regardless of what the Fed does. We'll have to see. That could be something. They're going to run it up into the Fed and then sell it on Fed news. Maybe the Fed pauses rate hikes and they still sell it off. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I don't know where this correlation between crypto and stocks came into play. I think people are just looking for something to guide them. I think is what it is. That's just a personal opinion, though. Everyone's like, see, they're correlated. I'm like, just because they both happen to rally during the same period doesn't mean there's correlation. The market, the Bitcoin market's been taking it on its chin for the past 6 months, or year. I'm sorry, for the past year, and then so we bottomed, we topped over here in Bitcoin, but the market rallied up a tremendous amount since we topped in Bitcoin. So there's no correlation. I don't think there's any correlation. But Apple here with what looks like could be a bit of declining in the momentum to the downside. You see these 3 lows right there start curling a little bit, kind of similar to what is happening here in the Nasdaq. You see those lows getting less aggressive there, and there. I was looking to see if that was going to hit that trend line, but if that's our next low, then you can see the aggression in the trend is weakening so far. But again, that's if this is the low. We'll have to wait and see how the day plays out today. Only about a half hour into the market session. But down at these levels, stocks really aren't running for the hills right now. They're holding up pretty good right now. The question you got to see at some point, are we going to see a change in trend which should increase the volume? Go back down to the 5-minute here. You can see we've been rallying. The volume's just been declining while we rally. So that's not a good sign for the bulls. Definitely not a good sign for the bulls. I would almost call this a good selling point. You can see right there the volume's just dove into the floor. We're up at 1.5. Now we're down at 0.5. Yep, we're down to counting follow-through days again. Exactly. So we'll have to see. We could get volume increase to the upside, which would make this a little mini bull flag, I guess. Not really a bull flag. Kind of, sorta. Kind of, sorta, maybe not. So there's a doji open right there, pretty doji open. Move to the downside, move to the upside on elevated volume, so some change right there, and declining volume to the upside. Maybe we'll get a doji top here, who knows. It's a doji right there if we close right there. I'm going to close in 1 minute, so we'll see how that minute plays out. Then I think I'm going to get out of here, guys. Going to go get some breakfast, see if my kid's still alive, and get ready for the power hour. So any more questions, you guys? Any stocks you guys want to look at? You guys have been looking at NVIDIA a lot lately, so we'll take a peek at NVIDIA. So still maintain that gap lower. Kind of curling down a little bit, not so hot action. Yesterday was a pretty big volume day. Didn't really get that much lower though. So I don't know if you want to do. You could almost do an aggressive buy in NVIDIA down here, but that would be very aggressive. Market is UTN, sure. I don't see UTN here, Christian. UNT. Maybe you meant UNT. I'm just guessing here. UWT. Oh my God. Ugh. Sorry, hold on. Let me regurgitate that back up and do it again. What is this thing? No, this is horrible. You want to touch this with a 30-foot pole? Yeah, not really interested in this. I don't even know what this is. Is this some S&P ETF bullish? Is that what this is? Yeah, UWT. I'm not sure what that is. What is that? University of Washington, Tacoma? Oh, it's oil? Oh, 3 times long crude oil. Oh, okay. Yeah, no wonder. And there's some of the selling in the NASDAQ. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. Right there. There's some selling. Right when that new candle opened, look at that. So maybe a good place to add to take a little SQQQ position. I don't know. With the Fed decision, if they pause rates, we could rally. So that could be a little bit dangerous. So I don't necessarily know about that. We'll have to just wait and see here. Yeah, oil up. BBY. Sorry, I missed that one. BBY. Ooh, yeah, definitely avoid BBY. That's not looking too good. Yesterday had a pretty big selling candle. Oh, that's a big candle. Could be a washout candle. It doesn't look like it so far. But that's either, high volume causes tops, bottoms, and breakouts. That could be good bottoming volume for Best Buy. I say could be. So let's go to the weekly chart here. We've got a prior high over here, which we're getting fairly close to. About 45 and change. We're at 52 currently. So we can go down a little bit more, but I don't think Best Buy it's a pretty good company. I don't know if it's really gonna tank. If I remember right, it was on the IBD 50 for a minute. Let's look at it real quick on. No, composite ranking 24, so it's not really a leader in any fashion. EPS change 19%. So EPS rating is 88, which is pretty good. That's not horrible. SMR rating is not available, which may be why. Maybe. How can you not know their margin? That makes no sense. Let's go to FinViz. All right, what's your margin? Okay, ROE is 33% for Best Buy, which is good. Gross margin 23%, which is good. Operating margin, profit margin is 2.5%, so not super good. I don't know how IBD doesn't have those numbers, but they really don't. Oh, they just got downgraded yesterday too to an underperform from Bank of America Merrill Lynch. So November they went from a, so check this out. This is interesting for Best Buy. So this is Best Buy. This is if you go to FinViz and type in a symbol, you'll get all this information. These are all the analyst recommendations. So you've got a downgrade here from B of A Merrill Lynch on November 13th from a buy to a neutral, and then a month later they go from a neutral to an underperform. So very interesting sequence of events right there. I almost wonder if they really want to buy this thing. They always tend to do the opposite. So we'll have to see what happens with Best Buy in the future. But that is a huge candle for Best Buy right there. The volume was massive. Let's dig down a little bit. That could be a bit of a story. Oh, let's say it all came in at the end of the day. A little bit to open. Wow, actually some good buying at the open right there. So there's some of the manipulation right there with the, and then you have a low volume sell-off all throughout the day, and then volume comes in and buys it back up. See some buys up here. So I don't think all is lost with Best Buy. If you look at look at that gap down in the aftermarket session. That's pure manipulation in my opinion. And then a huge rally out. Look at all that volume right there. And then it stops right about there. And then it fakes out and starts to fall. Then they buy it back up again towards the lows. So that's welcome to the stock market, ladies and gentlemen. So that could be an interesting bottoming candle in Best Buy. Yeah. I'm not going to buy it, but I'm fairly intrigued with a longer term entry. You're not going to get something out of this immediately. Keep in mind, these institutional investors have long time horizons and deep pockets, and this is a minuscule buy for them. So for you and me, taking a risk like this, I think is dangerous, but I don't know. It just seems, we've been kind of in a correction. Best Buy's come down from 85 to 52, kind of a big drop right there. I think there's a good possibility that maybe that may kill the move down with that kind of volume. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. So, all right, guys. On that, I'm gonna bounce. We had a little bit of a sell off there. Wait for that Fed decision, I think, to make any decisive moves if you're going to be on the trigger. But yeah, maybe Best Buy. Best Buy could be a case of market manipulation. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. See you guys tomorrow.